you have attended Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute and studied under Vincent D'Onofrio as well.
Yeah.
Lee Strasberg was the man behind method acting, and he used to often say that actors need to try and find points of similarity between a character and their own life and try to use emotional recall and self analysis and their own memories to be able to create those emotions on stage. So if there's a character who's sad, then you need to equate that with a life occurrence which was also sad in your life and then use that. And then this is like a boxing match, and you have strong opponents of this technique. And we have Stella Adler on the other hand, who always says that your own life is not enough and you don't have the enough range of emotions to actually portray it on screen, and you need to use your imagination and also research to be able to actually do a character well. So I wanted to check with you, what has worked better for you? Have you always on stage tried to resonate more with your own life, or are you someone who likes to do his research as well before he goes on stage?
So I believe that, I mean, when I take on a role, I need to do some research in it. Despite how much I think I know about the role, I need to make sure that I look at that I can be really honest with the individual and not and try to grab certain realities and keep them there. And yes, it's good to play with the imagination too, but see, here's the thing. Um it all started like the acting techniques, as you know, it all started with Stanislavski, right? The thing about Adler is that she was the only one who actually studied with Stanislavski. And these guys, man, like these guys are these Russian actors, man. They're really something else. At least back in the day, they were just extremely committed to the artistic aspect of it. And Strasberg really respected that because he wanted to put that. That's why he started the actor studio and the group theater in America, because he was influenced by, obviously, Stanislavski to do this. Again, Adler was the only one who actually studied with him. What Strasberg did is he studied Stanislavski's technique and he added what he thought Stanislavski was missing. But the most important thing that people always forget is that, like you said so yourself, you were like, oh, what's required to do? Oh, is this enough? Oh, is this not enough? It's just medicine. I promise you, acting techniques are nothing but medicine. That means that if you're not sick, you don't take medicine. So if I get a role and I'm like, oh, I can do this. Oh, when he says this line, I need to cry, I can do that because this line makes me want to cry. So what the hell do I need to do anything? I don't got to do anything. I just got to do it. Now, if I'm having trouble with a line, oh, in this line, he's breaking up with his girl, and I don't understand how could he possibly do that to her. All right, well, let's do some research. Now let's look at some techniques to help me deliver that. Because at the end of the day, I got to deliver what it says on the script. People are paying money to see this, right? The director says, all right, cool, I understand your frustration or your concerns, but you got to have to do it because this is the play. And you got to do it. That's when the techniques come in. That's when everything kicks in, that you start using emotional memory, sensory work, all animal exercises. All of this is when you're struggling. Or if you want to bring an extra layer of authenticity into the performance, then of course you work a little bit further with it. I like to do it. I like to include certain kinds of, sensory work just in general because it increases sensitivity, and it makes you. It's really beautiful because it's you're able to relax whilst keeping the adrenaline and remaining impulsive. I think that's the most beautiful thing you can have as an actor. To be completely relaxed and aware of all your surroundings, but not be dead. You're ready to go. It's like a highly trained like military. Like you're relaxed, but you're ready to fire at any moment. You know what I mean? And that's what Strasberg's technique taught me. That we can do that. And there's a lot of things you can do to help you commit to what you're doing. Now, with Adler, see the thing. Look, I don't know them. They all died before I was even born. But working with people who were right next to them throughout their peak times, they told me that apparently Adler, she didn't agree with the effect of memory. She thought it was too much. It was too traumatic. That's why she went off and she wanted to do her own thing, which is the use of imagination. Buddy, everything is imagination at the end of the day. That's what makes no sense. It's like, oh, imagine that you are. Well, if I'm imagining something, it's because I've experienced it. I can't just create a unicorn from. No, unicorns already exist because I've seen one already. So I know the concept of it. So how can I imagine something out of thin air? Even if I tell you right now, imagine you're skydiving. Have you been skydiving before?
I haven't.
Imagine you're skydiving right
Yeah.
now. Picture yourself jumping off a plane.
Mhm.
You can see it.
I
You can
can.
imagine it.
I can.
Why? Because you've seen other people do it.
Yep.
Because you understand the concept of it. That's how you're imagining it. Is that enough? No, because you don't actually know what it's like. You don't know what it's like. So that's what I'm saying. You can use your imagination all you want. But remember, even while using your imagination, it still comes from a reality that you've experienced or that you've seen. So that's why, look, there are certain people out there like Adler who was sensitive enough. She did not need effective memory. And I know a lot of actresses that are like that. I know actresses that you start doing a scene and I say, shut up. And then they start crying because they're that sensitive. So what do I need to give them effective memory for? Maybe for a different, because remember, effective memory is not just crying. It's laughing, it's getting angry, it's satisfaction, it's any emotion. It's just that actors always have a problem with crying. They're always concerned.
Can I
about
actually push back on that? Because Adler's not here to defend herself.
I
So
know.
I have I have only one quote from her, which I would love to check with you. So she had said in the past that drawing on the emotions I experienced, for example, when my mother died, to recreate a role on stage is sick and schizophrenic. If that is acting, then I don't want to do it. Do you think there's some element of truth to that? That the fact that you're reusing memories that are associated with a certain person morbidly, maybe, let's say a moment of sadness in her case where her mother died. Do you think that in a way is exploiting that memory of her mother?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Number one, from what I do know about Adler, is that she would act no matter what, because she was one of the actors. Again, she's not here to defend herself,
Yeah.
and I don't know her personally, but I'm just speaking from what I've heard. So anybody feel free to correct me. But from what I heard, is she wanted to be a movie star. And that was the group theater's problem with having her, that they knew that the moment she gets called upon Hollywood, she's going to go. Right. So she would act nevertheless. Now, is it sick to exploit something? Absolutely. It is always sick to exploit something. But here's the thing. Don't do it then. Why would you choose that memory? There's a million other memories you could choose. And if there isn't, then don't do it. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's forcing you to do it. Now, how committed are you? Because there's people in this world that will do a lot of things inside their head that nobody else knows, but they know. So yes, is it sick as an actor to be going through something? I was talking about this with my friend, and he was having an argument with this girl, and they were going at it. And he told me, he was like, dude, it was so funny because the whole time while she was yelling at me, I was like, I could use this in a scene. And I was like, yes, exactly. And he was like, yeah, man, but like, I feel so bad because she's like spewing fire at me. And in my head, I'm just like,
it's a character that you can portray.
In his head, he's like, in this scene and where I got to do
Oh, this is perfect.
He's like, what am I feeling right now? Where is it? Is it in my stomach? I feel anger here in my stomach. My fists keep clenched. You know, he's thinking
that's
about.
Amazing, yeah.
You are exploiting that situation. Technically, yes, you are. However, if you want to look at it in that negative sense of exploiting something, fine. I'm more, when it comes to acting and when it comes to anything that you're passionate about, I believe everybody should always be the cup is half full. So for me, it's not about exploiting the negativity aspect. It's about embracing something positive out of it. Because in life, you're going to suffer, man, no matter what. Nobody's going to live a full life being like, every single day was a perfect day for me. Nobody. It doesn't matter if you're royalty. Man, diseases will get you. Mother Nature will get you. Society will get you. Things will get you. So as an actor, if you're able to embrace all this negativity to use something positive out of it, why not? And that's what I mean. Sometimes I'll be deeply crying about something and I'll take a deep breath and I'll remember how I'm feeling and I'll capture it as much as I can. And then when I go on stage and I start reliving that and start feeling it again, it sort of makes me feel joy because one, it's very truthful. Two, it connects me back to that reality of whatever had happened. And I don't think it's a negative thing, because despite the person that I'm thinking about, I'm connecting back with that individual. I'm creating that sense of reality yet again. I mean, there's no other profession in this world where they will tell you crying is good. Good, please keep crying. Oh my God, everybody, promotion for this guy for crying, promotion for this guy for flipping the table in anger. But in acting, you will. You show that kind of raw emotion, that kind of, reality, and people will be like, thank you. So Stella Adler could see it as exploiting. I see it as something negative turned positive. Oh, and the last thing about it is that, is it worth it? Well, you tell me. How great of an actor do you want to be? You could be like Seth Rogen, who takes, no hate to the guy.
I don't want to hate mail from Seth Rogen. He's watching.
Good. Yeah. No. Here's the thing. I love the guy. I think that his movies are amazing. Same with Adam Sandler. Well, Adam Sandler, I do believe he is a genius in his own way, though, if I'm being honest. And he is a very good actor. He proved that in Uncut Gems. And actually in SNL.
Love. You watched that movie?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson, man. Yeah. But also in SNL, this guy works hard. He works very hard. But again, you can choose. If you don't again, nobody's pointing a gun to your head. All right? If somebody gives you a role that you feel is too much for you, nobody's telling you to do it. Go do something else. Go do some romantic comedy on Netflix that people are going to love and they're going to watch, and nobody's going to get mentally affected by it. But if you want to work with Darren Aronofsky, well, that's a different level of commitment. So that's all I can say. All right? How much are you willing to put in? Because that's what's going to show at the end of the day. Because we all die eventually. So eventually when you die, what do you want to be remembered for? For the easy road or the bumpy, in my opinion, inevitable road that we all go through that leaves a bigger impact? Again, I'm not judging anybody for the choices that they make. All I'm saying is nobody's pointing a gun at you. You choose what you want to choose. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Oh, but then they won't cast me anything else. Well, then go finance your own thing and go do your own thing. Or do something in a smaller budget. I'm sorry, you can't be a movie star because it's the only job that they offered you, and you rejected it because you thought it was going to do something to you mentally. Well, thank you for letting somebody else step in and take that role then, because there was somebody out there who is willing to do it. And I don't think that's a negative thing.